We take you to school, a little rookie calculus 101. What do we expect from Steinbach and Anderson this year? And I'm telling you, there's a way where LeBron James can cement his GOAT status. We talk about it. Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your pods. That includes YouTube. Doug Branson is here, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Go check out the Substack. Evan Hale is here. You can't see him, but you got to trust me. His work is on everyhornetsboxscore.com. And I'm Walker Mehl. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio, 92.7 FM. Doug, I have a way for LeBron to cement his GOAT status. Are you interested?
Finally. I've been waiting.
Yeah. LeBron James informed the Lakers today that he will not be playing for them this upcoming season. And he also said, you guys can move on. You are allowed to move on from LeBron James.
Proceed.
He told. This was after the Lakers guaranteed Bronny James's salary, which is just all-time father stuff. Did your dad give you $2.5 million today? No? LeBron beat you in dadding the last couple of days. But LeBron ain't going to play for the Lakers. We don't know who he's going to play for. There are reports swirling about. It looks like Golden State. That's the favorite. Draymond Green opted out of the contract to assumingly allow LeBron to go into that salary cap, go into that payroll, and everything work out with the Golden State Warriors. I'm so mad at Skip Bayless for coming up with that because it is gold. But the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler as of now, you guys get the idea. But Cleveland, a little interested as well. Does he go back for a third stint to his hometown? Okay, that would be interesting. We also have Miami, Pat Riley, always looming in the shadows. Perhaps he goes and he gets another star. That's a possibility. We've even seen Sam Amick report that Minnesota is interested. Oh my God. That would be LeBron and LaMelo. Is LeBron even the best on his own team? It'd be the first time that ever happened. So you have all of these teams swirling about. My thing is, man, if LeBron wanted to cement his GOAT status, then maybe he comes to Charlotte and wins a championship for the team that Michael Jordan had a chance to win the championship with, but was never able to do it. So maybe in a Hornets uniform, let's say MJ somehow, now the problem is MJ would never go to a game. He's too busy hanging out at the racetrack. But maybe instead of LeBron in a Heat uniform, dunking on a fast break slam, looking at MJ straight into the soul, maybe he did it with a Hornets uni on. He wins the championship for Charlotte, something MJ could never do, and that's how he becomes the best player of all time. What do you think?
My God, it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and I think, if you're LeBron, friend of the show, is listening right now, LeBron, do it. I mean, it makes too much sense. You don't want to go to Minnesota. You do not. I saw your reaction to J.R. Smith and some of the knucklehead stuff there. I mean, you're going to a team with Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. That's just, I can't imagine. He's goofy. LeBron is goofy, but I feel like on the basketball floor, he is as serious as it gets and as cerebral as it gets. And while, Anthony Edwards, uber talented, LaMelo, super instinctual, sees things that other people don't see on the floor, I just would not describe either of those gentlemen as super serious. So I honestly, I'm out. I'm out on Charlotte now. Go to Minnesota. I need it for the comedic value.
No, I need to see it too. Just LaMelo and LeBron and Anthony all together on the same team. It would be absolutely amazing. But him in Charlotte, I'm just saying if he's really interested in, I don't know about chasing a ring, but he's also prioritizing happiness, according to Brian Windhorst. So maybe it wouldn't cost all that much money, and then he would play with Con Knipple. He'd get to play with Brandon Miller. Okay, those guys can play off ball. I think the team fits pretty well. I'm just saying, man. And then you can really take it to Michael Jordan in every which way. So,
forget about the fast break. How about the fast food? I mean, apparently he is LeBron James. LeBron is a fan of LaBoche. He likes the Bojangles. And this is, so I did some research. I wanted to figure out, I saw the tweets and stuff, and I wanted to figure out where this came from. Mm-hmm. And it was from Ryan McGee on the Pat McAfee show. said, quote, "Did you know that LeBron James loves Charlotte? The reason he loves Charlotte is because Bojangles. I'm not making this up. Bojangles, chicken. I wrote a story about this in ESPN, the magazine. When LeBron James was a rookie, the deal was he would leave games at the old Hive, and the takeaway food to go get on the plane after a game for the visiting team was a little 2-piece box of fried chicken from Bojangles. LeBron would become so obsessed with Bojangles, he would send the clubhouse attendant to go buy one of these tailgate packs to take back to Cleveland with him. So, Bronny, LeBron, come on, you can get all the Bojangles you want. Come to Charlotte."
Yeah. Love
Go
it.
ahead. Your thought. I've got some thoughts to share on this, but go ahead.
Oh, no, that was it, honestly. I just love that. That's the sales pitch right there, is that you could have your own assistant that caters to you 24/7. We got Jake Delhomme, a Bojangles endorsement, okay? We got all sorts of athletes here in Charlotte, Bojangles endorsement. You could be the next one. You could be the next Jake Delhomme. If that's not as good a sales pitch as he's going to hear, he could be the next Jake the Snake. I really don't know what other sales pitch is going to be better than that.
The thing that really set me off about this quote as I did the research is LeBron James is a rookie. That was a long time ago, folks. If you haven't heard, the man is cruised over the 40-yard line. So we're talking what, 04, 05 in that zone, right? 03, he was in the 03 draft. So yeah, 04.
03, 04 was his rookie year. Yeah.
That was a long time ago. And if you haven't frequented Bojangles recently, since their expansion into many other markets, they in 04 they were probably still just a little kind of Southeast only franchise, right? It started in Charlotte and ballooned into the Southeast, but I don't know when. Sometime around when I was in Charlotte, so that would have been like in the 2010s, mid 2010s. They decided to expand all over the place. And let me tell you, like anything, when you expand, you got to spend a little bit more money and you got to cut corners. All of a sudden, the quality starts to go down. And so, I don't know. I think the only way the sales pitch works is if he could have his own Bojangles built into his location in Charlotte that stocks the old recipes and the old chicken quality. The biscuits are still good. But I used to get on my friend, not Edwards, a lot because he would disparage.
Still there. Yep.
He would get on the air, he would get on the show and he would disparage Bojangles. And I would say, "No, sir, we will not do that on this show. Bojangles is a sacred property of Charlotte, North Carolina." But then, Bojangles went and ruined it. And now I have to get on here and say something. Now, I will say in Nashville, I'm no longer in Charlotte, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Right. Nashville's one of these weird kind of Midwesty cities. I know it's not technically Midwest, but we kind of get all the Midwest weather. We also get all the Midwest test market restaurants. So there's a Bojangles down by a Lowe's in West Charlotte, like way off in the way off. And let me tell you, they get all the new stuff. They have all the old recipe. It's like classic Bojangles. It's really, really good. But then I go to Charlotte, home of Bojangles. I go back to visit. I hit up a Bojangles, and it's disgusting. I just don't get it.
Oh, you go back. You've had bad Bojangles in Charlotte, is what you're saying. Okay.
The worst Bojangles I've ever eaten. I bit into it and it was half frozen. Was the Bojangles in Uptown Charlotte, right outside Center City.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, right there next
to
the
if you can't take care of your home market, but see, that's the problem. That's the problem with a corporate culture in general is we have to expand. We have to give it to more people. And then you abandon your home. And that brings me to Michael Jordan. No, forget it.
I was about to say, no, more A-block material on this, please.
Just
right? LeBron James from St. Vincent, St. Mary's to St. Vincent's Bo Berries. That's the LeBron James book right there. Come on, buddy. We'll welcome you. Last thing about this, of all of the pain that we've suffered, people, what people don't bring up? Yeah, more pain, right? We're turning a new leaf. The Hornets, they have all the assets. This is all great. The one thing that we don't bring up enough is in the 2-year span that we did not have Charlotte basketball, it just so happens one of those years was maybe the best draft of all time. And we didn't get a shot. Even if, there was an 80% chance if you got a top 5 pick to land a superstar. Nope, We just didn't have basketball that season.
Well.
That's something that many people don't discuss. People aren't talking enough about this. Even if you don't get number 1, Anthony Davis style, that's fine. We could get the second pick, and you would at least have a shot of selecting Carmelo Anthony instead of doing the Joe Dumars thing and getting Darko Milicic. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. You could have. And instead, we just didn't have a basketball team, and that's, extremely frustrating.
No, full conspiracy theory. Like, they held Charlotte back once. They could have gotten Charlotte a team quicker, and they held it back because they knew. Everybody knew LeBron
can't go
was going to Cleveland. Come on.
Has anybody soft launched the NBA draft lottery conspiracy theory before, or are you the first one?
I think I just created it right here on this podcast. I
I
just hard launched us away from any future Bojangles sponsorship. Sorry.
I think, especially from the one. I've been there. It's very good. I'm sorry for Doug. He's in Nashville now. His opinion doesn't count for the current space of Bojangles.
Now, the two pieces clutch. We were talking about this pre-show, and Evan mentioned, like, the bone-in chicken. Yeah, sometimes you can get a good experience. Now, my Bojangles here in Nashville, I have no problems. Very close with the staff, no problems with that particular Bojangles. And it's always going to differ. But that's, again, you expand and stuff goes, it's too different. It used to be consistent. You could go to any Bojangles in North Carolina, South Carolina, and you're going to get the same experience. But anyway, I really could do an entire podcast on this.
Oh my God, the Bo-Berry, the Bo-Rito that they launched for a little while, the Bo-Rito was fantastic, and then they took that away. I'm a breakfast guy at Bojangles. The Cajun filet biscuit, see, that's probably the most consistent, not dry chicken that they serve. The big, juicy Cajun filet biscuit, it's so beautiful. Anyways, we're going to get yelled at by David Locke and Nick Angstad. For on a day where we get legal tampering starting, we spend a whole A block on Bojangles. Let's go to the B block. It stands for Bojangles. Coming up next.
Bees everywhere!
The Hornets haven't done anything in legal tampering so far. To be fair, not a lot of teams have done a whole lot since legal tampering started, 6 p.m. on June 30th. What's next for them? And also, we got to talk about the rookies. Hannes Steinbach, Christian Anderson. What kind of role are they going to play this upcoming season? We'll get to all of it coming up next. LOH. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. I mean, literally every match. Don't turn off the game too soon, because there's going to be a goal in stoppage time. It only happens every single game that you watch. It's been absolutely ridiculous. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting, from the opening whistle to the final kick. Now FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token from the opening whistle to the final kick. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Join the Everydayers Club, people. LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. There you can find all sorts of benefits. You get exclusive access to all sorts of different stuff. You can become a part of the Everydayers Club Discord server, where you get to chat with all sorts of different Hornets fans, and you have chances to join other Locked On podcasts, Everydayers Club, because it's hard to choose just one. LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. You know, it's funny, there was a comment on the YouTube comment section, and I got tagged a little bit in that, hey, Walker, I'm not sure we actually got your rookie thoughts. We don't know how you feel about the Hornets draft if we only consume your content on Locked On Hornets, because clearly I talked a lot about it on Wes and Walker. We did a whole show, and then LaMelo Ball stole the show. We were joking about it on Wes and Walker, how, hey, we've never discussed a draft less than the one that just took place because of the LaMelo trade and eventually because of the Miles trade. Perhaps we circle back to that. So, in short, I loved the draft. Hannes Steinbach had to be the pick. Once Morez Johnson was gone, even once Adai Mara was gone, I think you and I both had kind of shifted to maybe we want Steinbach over Adai Mara. But once he was the only front court player available, had to be the pick. Sure enough, that's who they selected. I had in my categories previewing the draft, Doug, that the player I think I'm going to have to love from afar because the timing just isn't right. I gave you the example of the love interest that you once upon a time had, and the timing, she was single and you were taken, but now, okay, all right, I got to break up. Now I got to go chase her, but now she's taken because she had to move on, vice versa. It just never worked. I didn't think Christian Anderson was going to be able to play on a team and get enough opportunities on a squad with LaMelo Ball as your starting point guard and Coby White as your backup, especially if they're going to try to continue to give on-ball opportunities to Mehl James. Go be free, Christian. Go get those opportunities with a different team. They draft him anyway, and I love the guy. I love him. I mean, I didn't think it was going to work out here in Charlotte, but now this just allows us to transition into what becomes extremely interesting. Christian Anderson, the 18th overall selection, buddy, it looks like the Hornets were probably always going to take at least one guard if they knew, and you have to imagine they did, that there was a good chance they were going to trade LaMelo Ball, Doug. Like, Christian Anderson becomes all that much more important with Coby getting slotted up as the starter, and Anderson being right now your only backup point guard, true point guard. Thoughts on the role that Christian Anderson might have in his rookie season?
Could be huge. Could be huge. I don't want to temper any expectations because of what we saw last season. We saw Ryan Kalkbrenner get an immediate role on this team. Now, the role did slide back, but Musa had to come in and just steal it from him, just knock him down, take his cookies. That could happen, you know. I mean, they could bring in another more veteran point guard and still give Christian Anderson a role because I still don't, you know, I don't think this franchise next season is going to operate like, oh, we won 44 games and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we win 45. I don't think they're trying to win less, but I don't think they're going to say, well, we can't, you know, we're not going to play these young guys. I think they're still in this sort of mix of we're trying to get better, but also focused on player development. So like if one or both of these guys has a significant rotation role on the season, certainly by season's end, that wouldn't surprise me. Now, Walker, have you gotten a chance to check out the first look of the rooks that we got from Charlotte Hornets, from the practice facility, from the account, the main account? Have you seen these clips?
Not really. Not the clips. I've only seen the pictures. I've seen the sweaty, shirtless pictures of the players. They decided to isolate those and put them out there. Muscle watch season. They're making it real easy for you to watch all of the muscles. I've not seen the clips. Did you see anything you liked?
I could be half blind and still see the muscles on your guy Christian Anderson. I mean, the guy's cut. He looks strong. It looks like, and if you're gonna be small, which you know 6'2", 180, I was a little scared of that. But if you're gonna be that, you better be cut. You better be like iron. Like, I'm gonna hit you like a bowling ball. And it looks like he can do that. And so that's going to be exciting to see. Steinbach, I love they put the video out, and the videos, or at least the one that I saw, starts with Steinbach shooting threes. Now, maybe I didn't see the right version. I didn't see if they went in or not, but I don't care. At this point, I don't care. Just give me bigs that are shooting 3-point shots. I don't need to know if they're going to go in or not yet. That's step one, particularly after I saw Kalkbrenner not shoot very many at all, if any. And I saw Musa take a couple. Like, just give me a big, just attempting. Will take attempting 3-point shots. So I saw him shooting from the corner. I saw him shooting from up top. I mean, God, if both him and Naz Reid, I mean, just Grant Williams, like versatile offensive shooting bigs, they go out and get Mitchell Robinson in free agency potentially. Like, all right, now we're starting to get serious. Now we're starting to talk about something. Yeah. One final observation from Steinbach. I don't know if it's like camera lens or camera angle or whatever, but it looks like his forearm and his hands look way bigger relative to the rest of his arm structure. It almost have you seen some of you remember early AI where it didn't get things quite right. So certain things were out of proportion. Sometimes you'd end up with like 7 fingers. Yeah. You know, a hand would be going through the body or something. Like, it just resembles that. His arms from elbow down is beefier than everything else.
You're calling Hannah Steinbach the early versions of Will Smith eating pasta AI videos. As it transitioned, AI got a lot better at making it look like Will Smith was really eating pasta. The early versions were, oh my God, this is an alien and this is extremely weird. That's what you're saying Steinbach is, and I like it. So I'm with you. Yeah. Do we just expect Steinbach to have a significant role right away? Is that a foregone conclusion that he's going to get those opportunities, or is there some battling that he has to go through with Naz Reid offsetting the Miles Bridges absence, right? And having Grant Williams still here. I think Grant Williams is an important player to this team. At least he was last year. I still think he kind of is. I think he'll maybe even see the minutes might balance out with new players coming in, but also him getting healthier. Remember he was on a minutes restriction. He would sit out sometimes, and he was just coming off of that terrible knee injury. So, like, is it just a foregone conclusion that Steinbach is ready to roll right away, being a lottery selection, or do you think that there are some hurdles he has to leap over?
I think there are hurdles because, remember, like, Tijon got some early minutes last year. You could even attribute some of Kalkbrenner's like early big role to the fact that they didn't have Grant Williams. So they were a little bit pinned up, you know, in terms of their big rotation until Grant got healthy again. And they were also missing Josh Green, and that had ripple effects into some of the wing minutes that went out there. So, you know, Josh is gone. Grant is back and healthy. And, you know, other than Brandon Miller, as far as I know, they don't have any like significant injuries. So the hurdle is the hurdle that any rookie is going to go through. You gotta show up in summer league and show off. Neither of these guys are top 5 picks. There's some politics there. There's some, hey, you know, if you get drafted in a certain position, there are expectations. I mean, the money you're making, and there's just expectations of playing time. I don't think that those are necessarily going to exist, but I think you see this every year. Like, you get into the start of the season, yeah, you'll get 11, 12 deep. Like, they're not going to cut I don't think this is a team that's going to operate like, oh, we have to be serious from game 1 to 82 in terms of our rotation. We got championship expectations. No, Steinbach will get an opportunity. Then it will probably eventually recede a little bit. And then towards the end of the year, as you know, he continues to do well within that role, then he'll get an increased role. Same with Christian Anderson. But also a lot of this is that they're not done with this offseason. We have to just see, you know, how the rest of the rotation fills out.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on what kind of role they'll play this year, and I'm going to hold on to them and give them to you in the last segment. Coming up next on Locked On Hornets.
Bees everywhere!
I think Steinbach does play a significant role for a couple of reasons, and Anderson, I think, has a chance to, and we'll explore that a little bit further. Plus, we got to do hindsight 14-18. Would you have traded up knowing that you were going to trade LaMelo? We got to have that conversation. We will. Last segment, LOH. I think Steinbach is going to have to leap some hurdles because he's a rookie and because you want to make it competitive for him. It's only going to do him better. But what's interesting is, as we start to try to figure it all out, Miles is a guy that was a 3/4, never was really playing small ball 5. But you were talking about him being a 3/4 type of guy, and Steinbach was a 4/5 type of guy. So there is some flexibility for you to play maybe alongside Miles if you just want to be super big and mobile and have some perimeter-oriented bigs. Like Miles could play on the three-point line. Steinbach could play on the three-point line. Musa going to play in the post, but at least without having the typical rim-protecting center, that's a big front line of Miles, Steinbach, and Musa. But now Miles is gone, and the power forward and the player taking over for Miles is more of a 4/5 than a 3/4. And that's exactly what Steinbach plays. So now you're talking about a guy that plays basically the same 2 positions that you do. Well, Steinbach might be able to stretch the floor. Musa can't do that. Miles had the outlier 3-point shooting season 5 years ago. So Steinbach, if he hits some threes, maybe that's his way to getting on the floor, except Naz Reid is awesome at it. So now Naz Reid is the guy that comes in as the floor spacer at your power forward spot. we know Musa has all of this mobility being the switchable big, so maybe you felt good enough about Steinbach's ability to switch and bring you that hybrid switchability, rim protection. You're not going to be better than Musa at that, all right? Musa wins NBA Hustle Player of the Year award because of all of that. You're not going to beat him out there. How does Steinbach see the floor? So I'm reminded of what I thought was an awesome quote, Doug, from Sion James, who joined us the day of the draft, and I asked him what kind of advice he would give to that rookie, whatever rookie comes in. He said, look, do what you do really well and keep working at it and honing in on your craft. And that's how you'll get on the floor. And as we've talked about a million times, they'll work on expanding your game in practice throughout the season. They'll work on expanding your game in the offseason, but come in and do what got you drafted. What got Steinbach drafted? It's being an absolute menace on the glass, and it's finishing at the rim. And I think those are still ways that you can be better than Musa, where Steinbach is really creative, and I've talked about him being this nice mix of finesse and strength finishing at the rim. Like, he's got a layup package, and he'll go through your arm. Usually when we say somebody is a finesse finisher, we think of them as soft. Steinbach is far from soft, but he finishes at different angles, and he finishes with some flair going through those arms. That's how he gets to the foul line. And he was a 76% free throw shooter at the foul line. So that's a way, right? When you grab the offensive rebound, we're asking Musa to kick it out about every time because we like the percentages a little better on the kick out with him being just a little bit shorter. So unless you get a free look at the rim to slam it home, go ahead and kick it out. With Steinbach, yeah, we'd love for you to kick it out, but you're also 6'10", 6'11". You have a few inches on Musa. You're also strong, and you finish really well at the cup. Actually, instead of looking for a three-point shooter, just go ahead and go strong right back up at the cup, and then maybe you get fouled, and we get you to the foul line. So, like, that's how you get on the floor if you're Steinbach. Be a freaking maniac on the glass. Check. Okay, as long as that translates from the college level. Jeff Peterson talked about how rebounding actually is one of the more bankable stats in college. Guys are pretty good at that, making that leap to the NBA. And you can finish at the cup on that offensive glass, and then you have a different offensive rebounder with Musa kicking it out to your shooters. That's how Steinbach sees the floor.
Quit trying to take away my shooting bigs. We finally get some shooting bigs, and now you're telling them not to shoot. Like, why do you hate
if he's
me?
down there and he grabs some boards, man, you can't grab a board from the 3-point line.
I agree with you. I think, you've got to, particularly in your rookie season, you've got to find that anchor skill, and you have to make sure that you show up at Summer League during the preseason and any early season opportunities you have. I would just prepare people to not worry if Steinbach falls out of the rotation, 10 or 15 games in, maybe even goes down to Greensboro for a little bit, and then pops back up after the trade deadline. Why do I say after the trade deadline? Well, because his main competition for rotation minutes will be Grant Williams. Grant Williams is on an expiring contract. So, would it shock me at all if they wanted to showcase Grant Williams and make sure that Grant got all the playing time that he needed and hit all the threes and made all the passes from the post to attract a contending team and let Grant Williams go and help a team win a championship, all the while picking up more assets that they can use next offseason in order, to go and get their big fish, or even to pick up some playmaking assets to help replace LaMelo Ball as they prepare themselves for the next season? Yeah, I can absolutely see that being a reality. And then Steinbach slots in the second half and has all the opportunity in the world. So what I would say is pay less attention to when he slips out of the rotation and pay more attention to what he does with the opportunities he's given early on.
You're worried about me taking away your shooting big. I'm worried about Charles Lee taking away your shooting big, because he took away any semblance that you had of a shooting big at Ryan Kalkbrenner, where we were hearing that he was being compared to Brook Lopez because he was Splash Mountain. And as I've joked a million times, he wasn't even Sprinkle Mountain last year. They didn't let him shoot. He would have nobody in his vicinity at the 3-point line, and he would not let it fly. That's coaching. That's a message asking him to do what he does best, and it's not 3-point shooting. If Steinbach comes in and isn't knocking down corner threes or just 3-point opportunities in general, and we have a 20-game sample, and Steinbach is sitting around 30%, I wonder if they're going to go away from it in a year where you'd like to win games, even if I guess will remain to be seen whether how many games they're looking to win. Are they looking to get to 45, whatever? But are they going to shy away from that even further, or are they going to stick with it? Because if they don't, then that brings Grant Williams back into the equation, who can shoot straight up. That's what he does well. So are you willing to part ways with that, or do you view him as a Hornet that can stick here long term? Any thoughts on that before we move on? Because I wanted to hit a couple more topics.
I think that if they bring in Mitchell Robinson, then they're going to want Nas to shoot. They're going to want Grant to shoot. If Steinbach comes in for an injury assignment, they're going to want him to shoot. They're going to want and look, I mean, I think part of the reason they asked Kalkbrenner not to shoot is because they needed his presence inside. I think it's going to be much more of a team effort. I think, look, they'll need Steinbach's rebounding when he's in the game for sure. But I don't think that Charles Lee has ever shied away. If he knows a player can shoot, he's never shied away from allowing that player and the team as a whole to shoot a ton of threes. And by the way, like, you know, we really focused in on the play. How are they going to fill the playmaking gap for LaMelo Ball? But there's another big gap that they're going to have to fill if they want to run the same kind of offense that they ran last season. Maybe you can't with LaMelo Ball, but if they want to have a similar offensive identity, they shot a bleep ton of threes. And LaMelo, even more so than Kahn, because LaMelo shot more than Kahn, but Kahn just made them at a higher clip than LaMelo did. But that three-point volume was part of what made the Hornets tough to guard, unpredictable. And so you've got to fill that a little bit. You're going to do that with ball movement, and hopefully you're going to do that with some 5-out lineups for the first time, I don't know, maybe ever. Like I'm so excited. Don't take my shooting bigs away from me, Walker. I want the 5-out lineups.
It'll be interesting to see how good Steinbach is at shooting early. Anderson, also, what do you do well, right? Going back to the Sion James advice. What do you do well? He shoots the cover off the ball, and he's a gifted passer. And I said earlier in the show, he's the second true point guard that you have on this team. Doug, there's a case to be made where he's the only true point guard that you have on this team if you view Coby as a combo guy, because that's what he's been the entire time in Chicago. He was still on ball here in Charlotte. He's a good passer. I've talked about how there's a little LaMelo to his game. Not all of the LaMelo, but there was a little bit of the middle portion of the Venn diagram of Coby being on one side and LaMelo being on the other. There was some passing with some zip on it to the corners that Coby had, and there was some stuff that Coby had LaMelo didn't, vice versa. Christian's not a combo guard. That we know. We do know that Coby has the ability to do that. So Anderson comes in, shoots, pick and roll. He's very good at the snake dribble, putting guys on his hip, Chris Paul, Steve Nash style. Do you try to explore that where you have a mouse in the paint and now everybody's kind of like, oh, okay, what's going to happen here? Do we stay home? Now you get some relocating Khans, relocating Brandons. That's what I'm interested in Christian Anderson doing, because that's what he was so good at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say this first. Like, true point guards don't exist. There are a few of them left, but they really don't exist in the league anymore. To be a point guard in this league, you have to be able to get your own offense too. If you want to be a successful point guard in this league, there are just very few like pass only point guards left in this league. And you're right, Christian Anderson is not technically a combo guard, but he's not he's somewhere in between that like true point guard, combo point guard, which is fine. That's kind of where you want to be, I think, at a player of his size. But really, it comes down to, can you effectively, intelligently navigate the pick and roll? And from what I've heard and what I've seen, it seems like he can do that. Now, he's going to get it on another level in the NBA. And we talk about this all the time with the rookies. They're going to face challenge, and then they overcome that. And then teams are like, oh, opposing teams are like, oh, you overcame that? Well, how about this? You know, so there's all these levels that they have to get. And if they can't get over a certain level, well, then that sets their ceiling. Are you, rotation player? Are you not a player at all? Are you a star? We'll see where he lands ultimately there. But I think he has the makings of someone who can navigate the pick and roll. By the way, Like if you look at the pick and roll ball handler numbers for LaMelo Ball, they weren't all that great. Like LaMelo
That's not
Ball
what kind of player. It was always kind of this misnomer about him. Like that's how that they ran a lot, but that wasn't where he was most efficient. You're right. Like maybe that's true maybe that's the opposite for Anderson. But I also think spacing, NBA spacing, we're in this weird space where the NBA actually gives guys an advantage coming from college, even if the league is unquestionably harder. There are some ways where you can actually be better in the league, and that's because of just how spaced out the floor is. And if Anderson isn't this uber athlete, but you have better shooters all around you, which is unquestionably true with Kahn and Brandon and all the guys that he could conceivably play next to, then that's going to help Christian out. That's going to help Steinbach out, where it's not like he's blowing by guys, but he has enough dribbling capabilities to where he can take a big off of the deck and then finish at the cup without having to worry about one of these pesky point guards swatting at the ball because he's going to turn it over. There's too much space. Go ahead, try that. Steinbach, as long as the recognition is there to pass it quickly, then we got dead-eye shooters to keep you honest up there at the three-point line. I think the spacing is going to be big. Final thing, because we have it in the bullet point, I think people want to hear about it. Doug, knowing what you know now, that LaMelo Ball is not a Hornet, and it happened immediately following the draft, which that means the legwork had already been done with Minnesota. You knew LaMelo, there was a good chance he wasn't going to be a Hornet. Does that make you have kind of wished maybe the Hornets would have traded up and explored opportunities to move up in the top 10 to go get one of those guards, right? It was guard land up there. Kingston Fleming's A-Cuff, maybe it'd have been harder to go get the Kings guy in A-Cuff, and maybe that's not who they would have gone after anyway. Burries goes to Milwaukee, not a point guard, but like another dude that has some secondary playmaking to his game. Should we play the hindsight game knowing LaMelo, surprisingly, but now knowing LaMelo's not going to be on the roster?
No, because for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, maybe they had done some of the legwork, but we had been hearing about LaMelo trade rumors. I mean, going back to the last deadline, and they weren't able to get anything in. They were not able to receive anything that was that would allow them to get over the finish line. And so, I don't think they could have gone into that draft assuming that Minnesota or any of the other teams were going to satisfy whatever they needed satisfied. So I think they had to operate as if like, oh yeah, we're having discussions, but they'll probably fail. And we need to go and take the best player available. And if we're going to give something up to move up, we better know exactly who's going to be there, and we better be completely in love with them. So I don't like, and I just never, that just seems dumb to me. Like, oh, we might trade our, all-star level point guard. So let's go and like, even though maybe we're not even totally sure about any of these point guards, let's go and make sure we just fill that. That particularly when you have all these draft assets too, it's like, if you really like, there will be point guards available. Like if you really want to go find that, and I think they also knew that they were going to at least keep trying to bring in Coby. And if LaMelo went, I have a feeling that they understood if LaMelo was out, Coby was in, and just the speed at which they were able to get the deal done kind of supports that.
Yeah.
So you've already bet on your guy. What message would that send? Okay, if you sign Coby, you say LaMelo's gone, Coby, come on, but also we drafted your replacement. Like I don't know if that would all make sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you on the Coby stuff. I think I would hope that you'd say, hey, man, that doesn't mean you're going to the bench. In fact, the rookie's going to come off of the bench. Here, we got you on a 3-year deal.
If you're Coby, you're still going like, okay, yeah, but that's, you moved up. You gave up assets to get that guy. All right.
Fair enough. What's absolutely true is if you don't like any of them enough, then, of course, this conversation is all for naught. If you did like them, but the price was too high, then, okay, this conversation still ends up being all for naught. If it was close, and I do think that they had done enough to where you expected LaMelo not to be on your team. Shams, as soon as the draft was over, told you, hey, man, this thing might happen tonight. And that was as soon as the 60th pick was called. Hey, it might happen. So understanding that, that's fair. 10 hours later, it was done. But that is true. It was not done immediately after the draft. So I was a Kingston Fleming's guy, and I think he embodies Hornets DNA to the fullest. And I wonder what kind of opportunities could have been there to move all the way up to 8 to go get him, because I love the pick for Atlanta. But all that to say, hey, man, I'm absolutely good with Steinbach and Anderson. If we just want to answer this simply, give me both dart throws, and maybe Anderson is just as awesome as Kingston Flemings. That'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen, people. We're free and available anywhere you get your pods. That includes YouTube. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Evan Hale, also everyhornetsboxscore.com, helping produce every episode. And I'm Walker Mehl. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio, 92.7 WFNZ, 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back with you tomorrow.
See you.